and salutations. Welcome to the Four-Letter Nerd. I'm sorry we weren't here last week. We had life happen, so it happens. But we're back. We're here, and we're ready to treat you to a joy of whatever utter chaos comes out of our mouths today, because it's probably going to be utter chaos, and that's okay because we thrive in chaos. We love the chaos, and there's nothing wrong with chaos. It is good. And on that note, let's bring in the chaos. Because, well, as you can see, the best thing about me is the way I annoy him. And he's got his cat ears on again.
Hi, I'm not Katarina. How are you today?
I'm good, sir.
I'm sorry. I was speaking in a different voice. I like to speak like this, just to emphasize that I'm not Katarina. But it's very nice to be here.
She doesn't.
Doesn't
I'm gonna let her.
I feel like she does.
I'm gonna let her handle you because
I just want to be something different,
I mean, you can choose to be different. That's okay, but choosing to be somebody by not being somebody, that's what?
That's like, I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you know that I know you know that I'm not being somebody.
Allegedly. So I'm just gonna bring her in now. So it's the glue that holds us together. That I don't know how much she's gonna hold us together tonight with that. But ladies and gentlemen, meet Lady Sidanai, Katarina.
I feel like I've already been introduced and I'm already on, and I'm staring at a mirror like I'm in. Is this an episode of? What is it? Black something.
Black Mirror.
Thank you. Black Mirror. Oh, there's a mirror behind me.
Spooky.
I think he did steal those ears from his baby.
I think so.
I've had these ears since last year.
This is true. He had them last year when he was paying attention to my as you.
I did buy a new headset, as you guys know. This side has been fritzing out on me, so I figured it was time to replace them. The new ones do not have ears.
But
they do not.
I sent you like a link full of cat ear headphones.
I know, but I really wanted yellow ones.
You caught it too.
Well.
I'm not getting within 10 miles of that statement.
So I know cat ears on the new headset.
I mean, these are like removable. So maybe I'll just stick them on the other ones. I don't know.
Well, there you go.
I like the ears. I'm not going to lie to you. I like them.
I really wanted yellow ones. I mean, like I got these because for the colors that they had, I didn't want black. And then I didn't really like the shades that they had of the other options that were available. But yellow is my favorite color. And so the ones that I have do not have a microphone like this.
Okay.
And they don't have cat ears. So we're going to give them a try and see what we think. They were pretty cheap, so I'm not too fussed if they don't work out. Did I just put this on backwards? I sure did.
Possibly.
Strong chance of that.
Who is really the cat-eared host?
No, they still, you know what? That's fine.
Nobody knows. We'll do it live.
It's fine.
I mean, like I said, the utter chaos that is about to be.
I take offense to that.
You resemble that remark, sir. What?
If it was chaotic,
you're the reason I made the remark.
You are yelling at me, and I didn't deserve this. Okay,
I'm not yelling at you. I've raised my voice excitedly.
Raise your voice. Okay. And this one with the black in the mirror. Okay. I'm the victim here.
I mean, sure.
I'm the Marin.
Oh,
he's the main character for sure.
Oh my god,
for sure. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
I don't know. I just work here. You act like I'm a host of something or something. I'm not the best
this
host.
This was supposed to be last week's topic, and unfortunately, Bergie is not with us this week.
Yeah,
and that's a bummer because I want to know what he would have picked.
Gigantic cakes.
We
not-
always want
But
because he comes with the heat.
he does. He really does. And I love how passionate he is about everything. And anyway,
Damn.
go ahead, Reggie.
He's
go
not even
ahead.
watching the show.
He's busy doing real life stuff, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Real life stuff. You can't be mad about that.
I mean, you can, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
What's it gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pout.
So
You can pout. So our topics for this week are
yes.
Hmm.
the best teams from any given geekery that we can come about with.
Mhm.
And then we will be talking about at least one or two shows that we think that we could have done better because it was a decent premise, but it fell a little short,
A lot of
in
shit.
our opinion,
Mhm,
or a lot of short.
mhm.
And then Mayhem's going to tell us about Echo.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
because he's the only one that's watched.
He is.
There's a
I
reason.
meant to 2 weekends in a row, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to binge it.
There's a reason.
Listen, Doctor Who, I got you. Percy Jackson, I got you. Good Omens, I partially got you. Echo, I'm sorry.
When I want to annoy Cat, I'm going to change my name to the best doctor, Peter Capaldi.
Listen, I liked Peter Capaldi's Doctor, but objectively, like there is no reality in which he is the most favorite Doctor of all time, and I don't
No.
mean that as anything
a
against
slight.
Peter Capaldi. That's just like the fact of it all. It's like saying that The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars film of all time. You can hate it or not hate it, but objectively, you can't say that it's the best one or like the fan favorite, like everyone's
That
favorite.
hurt me
Like
to hear you
Empire
say
Strikes
that out
Back,
loud.
I think is the leader.
Yes.
But I personally, for me, it's Rogue One. But before that, it was Empire Strikes Back. But I do think we've had this discussion before.
Yes.
Objectively, Rogue One is the best Star Wars film that they've put out.
It is.
Hold
Oh
on,
my
let me
God.
write it up. To my favorite fan.
Uh-oh.
He's getting stalked by the paparazzi.
All right,
and the
so
fans
we're
already.
starting with our favorite team up.
Yes, we're doing our favorite teams.
Okay.
Yes.
And because he's so sassy, he's going first.
Oh, okay,
right, cool.
Mayhem.
All
Best
right.
team up of all time.
All right. So
I don't know about all
Nice
time, but you know, favorite teams, best teams. So you know,
there you go. You can write. So obviously, daddy daughter, best team of all time.
I mean, right there,
right there. Boom. You know what I'm saying? 4-letter nerd. What she said. Right. What she said. And she's out. And she leaves.
She came.
Boom.
She got.
I don't gotta say anything else. That's the
You
show,
sang a
though.
song?
She
She's
dropped
out.
her remix. That's on Spotify and
know?
SoundCloud, look out.
yeah, you can subscribe.
Honorary member, Pilks. So when it comes to the best teams of all time, it's gonna be very preferential. And I thought long and hard, and I want to kind of go over some of my favorite ones because no matter what, I geek out for them. It's kind of like one of those. They may not get a great story, but they'll have a great moment that I'll hold on to until the next time it happens.
Right.
So that's kind of when I went forward. Maestro, if you would please. The first one that I thought. Okay, that's not it. Okay, that's
This
the
is
best.
the order in which you, at least I think it's the order in which you sent them to me.
That's not the best team, but that is a series that is also another series. Hello, beautiful.
Hold on.
Okay,
This-
no
I
problem.
swear
Technical
this is the order-
difficulties. All right.
This is the order you sent it
Wow.
in.
I know. But
Oh,
but technically, it was supposed to be series we thought could have been better than teams, and I was like, he got this. I don't need to correct him.
yeah, no, I ain't got nothing, sir. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I don't know nothing. I'm just pushing buttons. I am pushing buttons.
All right,
don't
so
assume nothing.
Literally and figuratively.
so the first
So
one
the
is
best teams
after
are okay.
is a
I
saying.
see where you.
Is a
I
saying.
see where you're going for
Right,
your best
right.
teams. Hold on.
Okay, let's
I
please.
got you. Let me get you there.
Let me get
Y'all
right.
gonna get there.
We're
gonna see
doing
your
great.
other
Is the
pick.
best team?
We're gonna see your other picks, but we're gonna get you there.
All right, fine. So first of all, I think Goku and Vegeta is probably the OD classic best team. The reason why I say that is because if you've watched anime, you kind of want them to fight again, but whenever they come close to teaming up and actually fighting a villain, you're like, you hold your breath, even though they never want to do it. It's like magnets that repel instead of attract. It's like they could, and then it's generally like it's an argument, and then it's like fusion. Well, recently it's the fusion dance or the Patara earrings. But seeing Vegeta and Goku fight somebody at the same time, we don't really get that, and they know what they're doing. They keep us salivating. Now, arguably, I would prefer to have seen Goku from Dragon Ball Z back in the Freezer arc when he was more serious versus Super right now when he's a little bit more aloof. They're doing a multiversal thing. Team up with Vegeta, but either way, I'll take it. I'll stay away. There's some fan fiction where it happens to an extent, but give it to me original. Make it. More.
No, sir.
What? We're going back to the big veiny vessel. All right. So anyway, I didn't forget. I didn't get.
I have oh Lord, really? You're gonna do that to Dragon Ball? You're gonna do that?
Listen, all I'm saying is, nonetheless, I think we all deserve a villain on screen where Vegeta and Goku fight at the same time, not as the same person, not one at a time. It's just one of those things we need to happen. Okay.
I mean, even though it's not canon, the original Brawly, they fought together. Them and the boys fought him as a team and all got washed by it.
I was about to say, I don't know if they were fighting. They were throwing their bodies at Brawly. Brawly was the one fighting, I think.
Okay. Point take. Yes, Brawly was fighting while they were there with their personages.
I would love for him to come back and fight again. I would yes.
Well, Brawly's there now. Brawly's in Super.
No. The previous Brawly.
Oh, you want that Brawly?
Not Bio Brawly. That Brawly. You know what I'm saying?
We're not talking
he came
about
back 3 times. He came back twice, actually.
Twice.
He came back, and then they ripped his heart out or whatever. He had a heart attack, and then he came back as Bio Brawly. It was a thing. It was it was anime nerds going crazy. Okay,
right.
You know how long it took Goku to turn Super Saiyan? A whole year, a whole summer. Then they restarted it, and then people had pictures of what he was going to look like. You know what? I'm not going to go into it, all right? It's a lot of trauma. I want to move on to my next pick, please. Okay, this is a deep cut for me.
Yeah,
I think the first time I saw them team up is with a Wildcat crossover, okay? Now, Kurt Wagner. Yeah, they did a Wildcat crossover. I don't remember the comic. I gotta find it. So Kurt Wagner is the blue elf. If you don't know, he's known as Nightcrawler, right? Generally, he's Spider-Man. Whatever. No, yeah, they're right. Actually, you're right. He is Spider-Man in New York. That's a whole thing. So what happens is he's generally a pacifist, but he fights because obviously he's a mutant. He has to protect himself. His whole gimmick is he believes in God. He's kind of like a pacifist, but I'll beat you the fuck up. And I'm a mutant, and he's very skilled at
swashbuckling
at a lot of things, actually.
Yeah,
so
this is true.
So he can teleport. His mutant power is he can teleport, and he can also stick to walls and surfaces. He has a tail in the shape of a spade in a sense at the end, and he can use that to balance. So like he has always been my favorite X-Men character. I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember the Sega days, the Sega X-Men.
Oh, that side scroller, yeah.
Oh my God! Can we get the old school instrumental teams that used to give us such classic on games like X-Men, Streets of Rage, Sonic? I just want an album. You don't have to say anything. Just an album of just the songs. Oh my God. So anyway, Logan, the best at what he does there is to what he does. And he's like good sneaking. He's good at fighting. So is Kurt Wagner, as well as swordplay. They're like ultimate spies. You know, Arguably Wolverine has more experience and more edge over him. He can smell and hear things. But like these two come together, it's to a point where Kurt's skin, Nightcrawler's skin, is indigo blue, which blends him in the shadows. Okay, that's a thing that people don't know. And I'm just like, whenever they come together, who are they gonna? Well, now they're killing people, but who are they gonna stomp out? Who are they gonna? And it's so amazing.
I saw that issue where Wolverine and Colossus got mad. They got Colossus mad. That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah. So like, this is just a personal thing. I had Wolverine, the toy, back when it was like a light when you could put things into it and it show like a reel onto the wall, whatever. I've always loved Nightcrawler. That's how far I go back, right? I love Nightcrawler as an X-Men ever since, especially since that game on Sega Genesis. Mm-hmm. When you all stuck in the war room with Gambit, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler. Oh my god! And this is just one of the great things. Now they're doing a great series with X-Men right now, and I'm really hoping they win. It doesn't look like it, but like they've expanded on so many characters and gave them such great backgrounds, such great attributes, and great stories. It's beautiful. So I'm hoping that they come back again and do something, so I can be next year and be like, you see this, and geek out. But those are my teams that I thought were really dope. Best team ups. You can tell me they're not. You're wrong. It's okay.
Why would I do that?
You know, and oh man, I really look forward to it. I look forward to the next time that they're on page or even on screen working together, sneaking in and arguably killing off screen somebody. Those are my picks.
It's more so on screen now because
yes,
the humans have pissed the mutants off. Oh, what? I forget the name. The Human League. I think they're called the Human League or something.
It's Orchis, and
Oh, there we go. Yes.
And then the Children of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, they pissed them off, and yeah, dude, I saw that. I read that the first intro to that where they got Scott all hemmed up in the court, and Scott gives him the what for, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes for you." It's like, bruh.
So I just want to really interject. X-Men have been taking L's for years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like, we're gonna be honest. They've had some great shining moments, but then they're generally followed by L's.
Years of L's.
But what I've loved about the X-Men is that they've gotten really realistic to a point where they called out Captain America. Phoenix was coming back for Rachel Summers. Rachel was like the first mutant baby since Wanda said no more mutants. Hope Summers. Excuse me. There you go. Hope Summers. I said Rachel Summers. Hope Summers. And
AVX.
And then Avengers vs. X-Men, which is amazing because people got to know that Ro can really solo a lot of the Avengers herself. That was a thing from before that wasn't new. Anyway, give me 1 second, baby. And one of the things I like is that Scott called out Captain America. And he's like, whenever you guys needed us, we were there for you. But where were you when XYZ happened? You guys don't come to us. And I was like, they said this in the comic?
They said They did.
Yes, the comic.
As they should have.
So, like, they called out and they made their own island. And it's been such a great character development. So now to see it kind of like coming to a conclusion, I'm not going to give off too much. It's amazing, but sad because I was really hoping for a great win. It still could be a win. It's not going to be great. I'm going to tell you that much. But again, I'm sorry. Thank you for grabbing
No, that was it. Those are some good picks.
Those are great picks.
Thank you.
I completely misunderstood the assignment. As per usual, it's what happens when you take 2 weeks off and you don't have the buttons.
Thank you.
And no, those are some solid team ups. So I did go in a different route of that. But what's funny is it encompasses yours. So for my picks, I did the best teams that I had read in comics overall. And of course, it always ends up and lands back at my number one because that's where it's always going to be. And that is the 90s X-Men. I'm sorry.
I thought of that. I'm not going to hold you. I was there, but go ahead.
Like, bruh, the stories I got from this group of people, X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, Excalibur.
Yeah.
Before you go further than this, I apologize, but I just want to interject this one thing. I knew that, and I was expecting Bergie to be here, that either the X-Men would be mentioned more than once.
Yes.
Or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be mentioned more than like.
I don't know the best.
I was anticipating those.
I left TMNT alone because that's what y'all expected of me.
I left X-Men alone because that's what y'all expected of me. I just chose two.
Okay, I'll give you that. But all the different team ups and crossovers that they had in the 90s for the X-Men, that was peak me reading comic books. Like, I started in the late 80s and the 90s and early 2000s, and these teams right here were, bruh.
Back
the
when
things
Scott
that they got up to,
pockets that didn't matter. Like, what was he had all those pockets for?
Right? No, that's J. Scott Campbell. I think it was just Campbell. It was one of them. Yeah, they drew lots of pockets, and no one knew why. But Cable had pockets upon.
He wasn't Batman with the utility belt. If I reach into my utility belt,
Robin. His chapstick.
right? The chapstick was in a different belt completely.
I'm pretty sure. He did wear tights, yellow tights. What the hell tights? Yellow underwear. Actually,
Yeah, yellow tights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever. He was doing
it
his
was
thing.
like yellow. Let's see, where is he?
That man quad though. His quads,
Right?
amazing.
Always insane. Always insane. But yes, I always got to go with the X-Men in the 90s
Yes.
because, yeah, the stories that they came out with were just excellent stories. They were always good. They kept you entertained like this right here. First issue back, they're fighting Magneto as they always do. Fourth issue in, Omega Red just almost solos most of the team, and Wolverine has to, jump back into his old school self and just show Omega Red what's up. Because, he's got the death aura, shroud thing. Makes everybody.
I don't think I've ever seen Jubilee look so hard before.
She had to. She was up against one of Wolverine's OGs, and she couldn't be soft about it. And this is before she actually learned that she was throwing plasma and could blow people up.
The crazy thing
was still little firework balloons, and she was still running them.
Jubilee and Kitty Pryde have grown up.
Oh my God, did they?
Kitty, if I'm not mistaken, survived being hunted,
being shot through space.
Well, that too. That was Jesus. Anyway, I think she's the one who fought Sabretooth way back, the Chris Claremont Sabretooth.
Well, and also X-Men's Days of Futures Past. It should have been her.
Right.
Fair enough.
It should have been her.
Should have been her.
It should have been me. Yeah.
No hate to Hugh Jackman, but it should have been her.
Should have been Kitty. This is true. But yes, I just love me some X-Men of the 90s. Because, bruh. And there's Miss Hope Summers there. But just the things that they got up to just trying to survive and live. And then, of course, there's always the internal strife because, you can't have X-Men without internal strife because, well.
I'm not going to hold you. If I was in this universe, I would become a psychologist and I would work on them. Because their PTSD is ridiculous.
Doc Samson is broke.
I would never go broke.
Nope, Doc Samson is broke. And he does the mutants, he does the Hulk, he does the heroes, and
That's why
broke.
He's broke.
He always broke. Doc Samson is always broke.
Doc Samson's always chasing after the Hulk. That's why. But I'm telling you, Mayhem Incorporated. What's wrong now, Jubilee? Talk to me. Professor X, you want me to use your black card again? All right, cool. Anyway,
no.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can go on and on about the X-Men in the comic books from the 90s and early 2000s because I had the vast majorities before I lost my collection. But this is my jam right here. And I can literally tell you how all these people are and are not related. And I can tell you that person is technically that person, but not really that person, but from an altered timeline, but also not. Don't get me started on Zord. It's dumb.
Okay. We know better.
Okay.
And this is the cover that I think I have the gatefold one left over, but when it relaunched, like, bruh, look at this cover. And of course, it's the homage to the OG cover of the original 5 doing the exact same thing. And it's wonderful. I loved it. It's the X-Men in the 90s. Favorite team.
Ripped. They're all ripped. What do they work out with Will Smith's trainer? Jesus.
Yes, they do.
Actually,
they were getting the Marvel treatment.
They're the ones that trained Will Smith's trainer.
You're right. I need to train them.
And then I had an honorable mention of these fellows.
Oh, I love these guys. I actually just watched this movie the other day.
Nice. This is the crew of a ship called the Casper Team. They are some sky pirates in the world of Stardust, written by the wonderful writer, Mr. Neil Gaiman. And they are the crew to one Captain Shakespeare, played by this dashing man here.
Of course.
And it is just a good show. But he has a secret.
Kiss of a film.
He has a secret. And they called him a whoopsie in universe, but his crew knows
he was a whoopsie.
They knew he was a whoopsie, but the crew knew, and he's one of the hardest, meanest pirates in their realm, and he won't hesitate to chug people off the side of a ship in the air. Granted, one of them did have rope tied around him, so he didn't go far. But anyone else, they're going for a trip, and he likes to dress in ladies' clothes, which they have zero problem with. They're the rowdiest bunch of men that will fight anyone on sight.
Loyal, badassery.
Loyal to a T.
Fair enough.
Will fall. And I have to give them a shout out because literally that was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, wait a minute, a good team, the team of the Casper team. So I they were the first team I thought of, but I'm like, I got to go where my heart is.
And an unrecognizable Henry Cavill in this film.
Wait, what? Which
Yeah.
prince was he? Hold up, which prince was he?
He wasn't a prince.
He wasn't. Whoa.
No.
Oh, he was the rival back in England.
The one that went all the way to Ipswich.
Yes, the one. Oh my God, you're right.
Unrecognizable.
Oh, I'm gonna have to pull that up now.
But he has a great moment with Robert De Niro at the very
Yes.
end, at the coronation.
That
Okay.
he does.
He does.
Oh no, yeah, but you can see that's that there. We're not gonna talk about that yet.
Yeah.
We'll
You
get to
don't
that in a
do
minute.
Anything.
That was gonna be that you knew had to know that was gonna be on the docket because I'm mad at that one.
I'm not.
I am.
I'm. If anything, I was mad at Luke Cage. But let's go. Let's. Kat,
Yes, my love.
you're up. Please tell us.
In my effort to not be a repeater, and also I think that I've kind of done to death
The DC
DC
Cinematic
Comics
Universe.
in general. Even though I have to say, if I was to choose within DC, it would just be the Amazons. And I would even say our most recent cinematic universe Amazons, because the storming of the beach, the fighting at the temple, those women were everything. Yes.
I didn't like the storming of the beach. The beach one, they looked like ballerinas. They were
Storming of the
like,
beach.
wee. And they were like, Kia.
When they came in on those horses and when they came swinging down, you cannot tell me when she yelled shield and went running and like bounced off that shield, turned around with those 3 arrows and went pow.
That was a badass.
That
scene.
teamwork.
was
And then when they
one.
were running and she came by with the horse and she just swung her right up. And
You know
then
what? I'm just gonna
Queen
apologize. I'm just
did
gonna
that
apologize.
spinning kick off the horse
I'm
and beat
gonna
people's
apologize.
asses. You can't.
I feel
you
like we
can't.
gotta watch it
It's too
again.
late. No,
You
no,
cannot.
No.
I
Accept
was so emotional watching this because this one was for me. I've always enjoyed, everyone knows this. If it's sci-fi, fantasy, or somebody's wearing a cape, I'm into it. Like I have been my whole life. So I enjoyed the X-Men films. I love the Marvel films, the DC films, the animated stuff, the TV shows, yes. But that first Wonder Woman, that was for me. That was for 7-year-old me reading Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then Perez's Wonder Woman run. And the way that those women lived together and worked together and trained together and fought together and everything was iconic. And in Justice in Justice League, when they were protecting the mother box and you know like show them your fear and they just like formation, we have no fear, like that was something that I never thought that I would get to see in real life
Mhm.
in my lifetime. So that is always going to be my number one, but I felt like that would be completely expected. And that's why I didn't choose that. And I went with something that might be a little bit more obscure. I know Mayhem's familiar with it, I believe. But this is actually from one of the first fantasy book series that I have ever. Yes, Lala, I cried. When I went to the theater, I went to see it in theater 5 times. And it was only the 3rd time that I was able to go by myself. The first time I went with my daughter, which was an unbelievable thing that I share with my daughter, and I will always share with my daughter. The second time I went with my cousin, the 3rd time I went by myself. And I just sat in a chair off to the side of the theater and I just cried the whole time, like tears of happiness. But anyway, this is actually from one of the very first fantasy series that I have ever read. And it's The Belgariad and the Malorian by David Eddings and his wife, Lee Eddings. This is kind of like a D&D campaign. You have a young wizard and people who are training him, his aunt who's a witch or sorceress, excuse me, and you have good guys and bad guys and sword fights and magic and mystical creatures and sorceress of Darshiva. These books, and they were rooted in realism. The main protagonist, Garion, later Belgarian, is a wizard in training who doesn't realize just how integral he is to the fate of the future. He tries to break up a war between two rival towns by making a rainstorm, and he is successful in stopping them from going to war by like giving them time to cool off and giving them a couple of days to kind of sort things out because they couldn't battle during this like typhoon that he created. But little did he know that because he created that storm, it started off a chain reaction of weather, like the butterfly effect. And the rest of the people in his group, which was a group that grew it and got smaller as people passed on, or they broke off into different things, kind of like in the Lord of the Rings, where they kind of break off into factions to go on their own little quests, side quests. Set up a chain reaction all over the earth. So they're running ragged, trying to put up all of these tornadoes and monsoons and hurricanes that are caused because he drew from this power to make this storm. And you realize that you have to practice this with some kind of control and sensitivity to the far, like what the far reaching effects of what you're doing is. But the way they come together, the family that they become, the love that they have for each other, the loyalty they have to each other, what they're willing to risk for each other and for the greater good. This is what really got me into fantasy in the first place. And this also is a much easier read, even though, as you can see, these are 10 books right now. It's the Belgariad and the Malorian, and they're two parts of a fantasy epic. And these are the two best ones. Like you can read the rest of them, but I would say like if you just read these, they're worth it. But they are much more palatable if you don't want to get into something that's really heavy with songs and poems and story like The Silmarillion or Lord of the Rings. If you're more like Hobbit speed, or if you're like I like to say like if you're a horror fan, it's like the Dean Koontz to the Stephen Kings.
Fair enough.
You know what I
that.
mean?
I like
like you know what I mean? Like Dean Koontz is just, he's more concise. His books are just like much easier to process because they're not so dense. Like Stephen King, great writer, not trying to take anything away from him. Dean Koontz, also great writer, but you could read 5 to 6 books of Dean Koontz in the time that it would probably take you to read 1 or 2 of Stephen King's books, because he does really get into the nitty gritty of details. And this is just a fun read. I think, Mayhem, you've read these as well.
Yes.
I'm like, he has talked about them, so I would imagine that he
I was like, with the look on his face, I was like, he's looking like he has no idea what I'm talking about.
No,
so,
I'm watching what I say. You know, I'm still on the Wonder Woman hook.
No, please speak your truth.
No. Back when I was out here liberating books from the tyrannical hold of the public library, I actually came upon, I think it was Mulligan's Gambit, and sorry, not Mulligan, Magellan's Gambit. I'm saying it wrong.
The Magician's Gambit, yeah.
One of them one. Well, I came on that one, and I read it, and I was like, this feels like I'm missing something, and I read it, and I was like, yo, this is dope. I was mad when it finished because I was like, I miss you too. Bye. I was mad when it's finished because I wanted more. And, you know, I was a kid then. I wasn't paid for books like that. My parents had me on an allowance. The library that I was going to did not have any more of David. I believe his name is it. Oh, it's right there.
Eddings.
Eddings, yes, Eddings. David Eddings' catalog, and I don't know why. They had a lot of stuff. They didn't have any more, but this really opened me up to like fantasy. And when I went to go read in Walden Books, I went to work at Walden Books, and Walden Books was a non-competitor, but they tried to Barnes and Nobles. Books like this helped me like understand what fantasy was about. It kind of got me into D&D. I didn't really have any cool friends that were into it, so I was stuck there. But online, I would read the posts. That's another thing. Back then, online was so adventurous and bold. Nowadays, it's all about TikTok and but these were great reads. I gotta read it again because you kind of made me think of some moments I want to kind of cry about, and Reggie has left us. Okay.
He's so moved. He's gonna go get the books right now.
Right. I remember reading them, and it was just
I was very lucky. My cousin owned all of them, so I just stole them from him and read them.
Lucky. I was
very, very lucky. There was a large age gap, and that was like I was at his house. They lived in, so as you know, I live in Connecticut. They lived in New Jersey. It was like a 3-hour drive, and we would be there for the holidays. We'd be there, like, sometimes we'd be there for like a week.
Thank you.
And
Mhm.
I, at the time, was an avid book reader, and I could consume books super fast. So I was able to get through
Mhm.
the Bulgarian and the Malorian
Oh, okay.
very quickly. And then I did read, I think one's called the Elenium, and then I'm sorry, I can't remember what the other ones were. I didn't enjoy them as much, but they were still good. But these two were life changing for me. I didn't realize
Mm.
that this was my thing until I had read this.
Okay, that's fair. I was out here reading all types of. I don't. This is the last thing I'll say. You remember the romance novels that generally come in white?
Harlequin.
I've read at least 10 of those books.
I've read hundreds of those. My mom used to get a subscription.
Every
And
guy,
so
every
that's
time
all that was in the house for me to read, which is probably why I don't mess with any of that stuff now.
the guy's either an
Oops, sorry.
agent, a cowboy, a cop.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, he's
God.
always rich. That's
That
for
too.
sure. He's always rich.
Yeah.
Well, they have to, because if they're poor and they're doing those things, then they get arrested.
And they're very misleading because those were written in a time where relationships were very different, and they made it seem like true love had to have like angst like all the time, like some kind of discord, some kind of like he messes up and she forgives him kind of thing. Misleading.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But that is also like why I don't mess with any of this. But my mother did have a Harlequin subscription back in the 80s and 90s, and I read a lot of those books because that was all that was in there to read. But I do recommend them, Reggie.
Read it, Reggie.
Read it, buddy. I would really love to hear. And now this is something that I read when I was like 8 or 9. Like it was. I have not read them since I was a teenager.
You don't know
So
how well they've aged.
I don't know how they have aged.
Ooh.
So I want to be clear with that.
Okay. I will accept that when I go on this journey to read them.
Like when I tried to go back and rewatch Ruskies and realized that was a problematic AF.
A lot of movies from our childhood are problematic AF. There's actually a gentleman I follow on TikTok where he goes back and he looks at the movies and TV shows from our youth, and he's sitting there with another version of himself. The one version knows there's issues, and he's waiting for the other version of himself to realize these
to catch
issues.
on.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that one. They're having a conversation, right?
Yes,
And it's
Mr.
cutting back
Double-
and forth. And then he's
Yes.
like, oh, I think I've seen
He's
that.
like, wait, I don't remember watching this. Probably he's like, what? You'll see.
You'll get there.
Oh,
Oh.
and he's like, yeah. And he's
So
like,
I don't remember if anything happens in there that's problematic. So I don't want to like say
can
that you
handle it.
won't encounter something that will be like, are you freaking for real right now? Like you're recommending these books. But I remember them at the time to being so like I consumed them like water. Like they were so good. I couldn't put them down. I blew through those books in days, It was
Nice.
I could not put them down.
I just want to say, why are you here, baby? Go away.
Because she loves you.
Thank you for those picks. I think you won for the day. Thank you, Kat.
When doesn't Cat win?
I come here.
The Amazons.
Yeah, the Amazons. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I told you that the Snyder Cut, Show Them Your Fear, was an amazing moment.
Yeah.
An amazing moment. And if I was in the movie theater, I probably would have got him like, yeah, show them your fear. Somebody would be like, sit down. I'd be like, you're right.
Well, even in the version that I wasn't that crazy about, the original version that we saw in the theater,
Mhm.
that scene at the temple was so much. It was like everything. It was my favorite part of the film. That whole scene. I mean, even though like it was a little bit like the whole mother box thing was just weird when they just kept on calling it in mother. I'm like, nope, no, stop.
Mother.
The mother box. But anyway, when I got up at 3:00 in the morning to watch the Zack Snyder cut, and watched all 4 hours or whatever. What's 4 hours, right? In those chapters, I sat there, watched the whole thing before I went to work. I got it because it was a Thursday morning.
Oh yeah, they did that. Yeah, yeah.
Watching that scene again, but in the greater context of that film was even more powerful. So yeah, if I went with like the obvious one, it would 100% be the Amazons.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thank you for sharing, Reggie.
All right.
What else we got?
Yes, sir. So next up, this is shows or things that we could have done better than those that did them, because it was something there, it was almost there, and then it wasn't. And with this one, I'm going to start with this one because I got some. I'm gonna go through them quick because I got two, and I got an honorable mention because it needs to be mentioned.
Okay.
And yeah, I got to get through these because they irked me to no end. To no end.
I just
You
want to
saw
say
the first one.
I would
Everyone
just-
knows what the first one is.
Oh,
I just want-
yay. I
I
hope
just
you
wanna
enjoy them,
say-
Lala.
Lala, Star Wars books, if you still got them, hold on to them because they were amazing before Disney said ixnay them, but they were amazing. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
That was
Thank
all.
you for that, sir. So the first one we all know. The rest of the series in this compilation series that it became, we know they were good. They had some flat moments, but this entire show was flat. Just completely.
It
I
was
stopped
definitely the
watching-
weakest of them all.
Yes.
I stopped watching after episode 4 or 5. I fell asleep on episode 4, forgot I fell asleep, started watching episode 5, got confused, went back, watched episode 4, and then just got mad and just turned it off.
Daredevil was the pinnacle of the series at the time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Jessica Jones.
Which-
I understand that was divisive.
Yeah.
People like Luke Cage. I didn't. I felt it was stereotypical and not stereotypical. Let me not say that. It was generic.
Mm.
It
Because you're
wasn't.
from New York and you didn't see yourself reflected.
Yes, but as a person
Well-
of color, as a black man, and as a West Indian man, so like some of the things, yeah, I get it. Like for instance, hear me out. They shot over in over Franklin Avenue in Brooklyn, right? Not too far from Eastern Parkway. It's a little bit more gentrified. They show the famous restaurant with oxtail. That's great. You represent the people. Okay, cool. But then they go to Harlem, and then the next like 3 episodes is about that woman remembering her past or whatever and how she became that way. And it was like a bunch of flashbacks. And then it was like, "What's up, Jive Turkey?" And it's just like, oh my God. And this man is suffering from the worst post-nut clarity because he's just like sad all the time, and then he's trying to fix the world, but it didn't have anything to it. I think it was a great cast. It's just the story was just
Well, see,
Ugh.
and that I agree, but I also disagree. I think like
mhm.
Daredevil, shout out to the actor that plays Daredevil because he's also the lead protagonist from Stardust, which Reggie mentioned earlier today.
Mhm.
Charlie Cox,
Mhm.
his name came to me.
Mhm.
Daredevil set the bar so high,
It did.
and I feel like every other show aside from Punisher, the supporting cast outshone the main character. And
Yeah.
Fair enough.
that's a shame because in Jessica Jones, which I didn't much care for the actress that played Jessica Jones, I had a hard time like rooting for her.
That's
But you
fair.
also have her with David Tennant as Kilgrave, who was
Amazing.
stole every scene that he was in.
Right.
Well,
I felt bad for my friends that were named Jessica when that show came out because all I could do it now, Jessica.
And then like Luke Cage and Iron Fist, they got these really powerhouse actors to be in these seasons, and it just really showed that they were giving they poured more energy into those characters than they did the people that the show was supposed to be about.
Right. Because this one, I couldn't with Iron Fist because he wasn't the Danny Rand I read in the comics. Yes, I know it's not going to be the same, but they made him so flimsy, wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And that's not Danny Rand. Yes, he did have that tragic beginning where he lost his parents and he ended up in Kunlun. But when he came back, he wasn't, I don't know what to do. He was like, no, I'm Danny Rand. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go back. I'm going to get my company and I'm going to kick ass in the streets of Harlem. And
The
that's what he
problem
did.
was they thought that tattoo was the one.
Yeah, no. I did it's Danny Rand, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage were the weaker ones. And even if I take what you say into consideration, which I always do, obviously, Kat, it's just like they could have done so much better.
Sure could have.
Story wise. And it is whatever. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Like, I appreciate the shout out that they did to the OG costume, but
Which they did with Luke as well.
yes. Luke's looks good. And it made sense. What the hell was this, man? No. I could have done so much better. I would have, I wouldn't have stuck straight to the comics. I would have, done it as a realistic, gritty version of the comics. It's set in today, but
they could have
would
done
not have been.
They could
But
have made
I also
it
think that
one
they
thing.
just didn't cast this well. Like he
They-
just wasn't cast well.
Oh,
It
okay.
was not.
Fair enough.
Was not.
There are like they could have gotten like a Skarsgård or like
There you go.
even the actor that played I Am Number 4.
Oh,
Why does that sound so familiar?
you know I am number 4. It's
You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, I know exactly. I just saw that the other day on YouTube. They had a thing for it, something for it. I was like, oh, I should check that out again. Come on, don't make me Google it. You're gonna make me Google it. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, he was dynamic, but I think like they in this one it felt like they cast the supporting cast with all of these big names and then ran out of money when it was time to get Danny.
Yep. All right, and
I hate to say that because I'm sure the guy is good. He just wasn't.
He wasn't it.
Danny.
Alien on the Run. I am number 4. Oh my God, brought me back.
So,
2011.
my next one up is Wednesday. It was all right. I enjoyed it for what it was, but that was not the Addams family in that show.
They hyped up her dancing more so than the actual series.
They did. They really did.
I didn't have a problem with her casting, but
no,
Morticia and Gomez was.
It's not the casting; it's the way they portrayed them. Yes, they did have that love between Morticia and Gomez. Yes, Pugsley was completely wrong. Right. I don't know what they wrote him as, but it was not right.
I like both of the actors that they cast for Morticia and Gomez, but the two of them had no chemistry whatsoever. And I feel like they should have kept on choosing until they did. And I think that, and I don't want to use the word failure, but I think that the weaker of those two was Luis Guzman, who I really like as an actor. But I don't think that he's used to playing that kind of character, like romantic sex symbol kind of character.
He's always the comedic one.
Right. So I just think that like, because Catherine Zeta-Jones is like electric. She can have chemistry with literally anyone.
She did not with him.
Not with him, no. And I think that was like the biggest disappointment of the show, because that love story between the two of them is like, even in here, you don't.
They're too far apart.
There's nothing there.
There's not. If you're doing Gomez and Morticia, they cannot keep their hands off of each other.
Right.
Period. It's not just that one moment of, oh, Cara Mia, and they do. No, that's constant. The oh, Cara Mia is when it's come to the surface and he can't control it anymore. But yeah, no, this was not the Addams family, and yeah, it wasn't it for me. It just was not it for me.
Somebody made a post that I gotta share it to you guys, where they have Morticia and Gomez as original lovey-dovey, and they compare them as the dark version, like literally black and white. As I forgot the names of the couple in Encanto, the lovey-dovey ones as well.
Oh, the wife that can see the future.
And
Pepe, is it Pepe?
Peppa. She's Peppa. I don't remember the husband's name.
So yeah, those two. So like Light and Day, and I was like, that works really well. And I agree with you guys, because the love was there. You knew that man loved that woman. You knew,
and that was like their love story is like a standard for people. Like, I don't want to love like Romeo and Juliet. I want to love like Morticia and Gomez. Like, they're held as a standard. So I think that being such a failure in this show dragged down the whole thing.
Yo, I agree. Yeah. And then my next one is just a quick little shout out to a show that I tried to enjoy but could not. And if you don't know, Powerpuff Girls went anime, and I got so hyped.
And I'm out.
Just So hype. And I didn't even get mad that they were magical girls. They're not sisters. They're not as rambunctious as they normally are. And the story was just all over the place. I understand they want to do their own spin on things, but dear Lord, no.
I
This
didn't
show
watch
was just,
this. I didn't know. So I didn't even know this existed.
it exists. I won't tell you to watch
Reggie, let me
it.
stop you right there, Reggie. Okay. Kennedy Tavarsky, okay, is a genius. He made
Yes.
Powerpuff Girls, Dr. Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, to say the least, actually, to say the few. The original Powerpuff Girls was
The Whoop-Ass
amazing.
Girls.
The one
Did
they
not
brought
need to be
back
touched.
with that weird, the weird sister who was like, yeah, that was a flop. They shouldn't have done that.
The one that was like Teen Titans Go. Yeah,
weird.
that.
And allegedly there were certain things, whatever. Then they brought it back for a live action series, and that got canceled. I was looking forward to that, but then they were too wishy-washy on the script. The Powerpuff Girls is a classic and should be redone and remade with better graphics, although it does not need it.
No.
This is trash. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for like trying different things. Hell, The Last Airbender is coming to Netflix really soon, live action. It looks to be dope. I'm not really feeling it, but I'm giving it a chance nonetheless. Well, the cosmetic so far.
Right.
But this is trash. This should have never
watched this. I hate watch this show because I was so mad at it.
What if they were to take the original audio, but have it against this style animation?
It's not the animation. Although
it was the story.
It's a story. It's
no, I know. That's why I'm saying, like, if they were to take the original stories
and then redraw it
redraw it in this style,
possibly,
I'd be okay with that.
It's possible. It's 50-50 because sometimes you want to see things the original, but sometimes you want to see certain things new. Point in case, you remember Trigun? Remember that lovely anime that's really slow but it had a great concept? They remade it. Great graphics. And I decided I'd rather watch the original because I just don't want to watch the same slow ass shit and better graphics. I'm sorry. I don't want to watch turtles like racing closely than far away. They're all slow. It's all slow to me. I'm sorry.
You're not wrong.
Excellent choices, Reg.
Yes,
thank
excellent
you.
choices. Sorry.
Thank you. Who would like to go next for they could do it better?
All right, I'll go first. Fine.
All right.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. We can't say the other word, but we'll do it live.
Yeah. I went in a different direction for series. I decided to be a little bit proactive and happy with mine. And there's a reason why. So, Maestro, if you would please. Ooh. So, Modern Warfare. Okay, I said happy, but this is not happy.
I'm like, sir, happy about that?
What was it, 2004, 2003? Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out. I could be wrong. Give me my dates, whatever. We were all excited. Okay. Right. You teenage boy, Xbox lobbies were trash, but hilarious. You know what I'm saying? If they knew you were black, it was a wrap. Ooh. Anyway, it was a great time to be a first-person shooter gamer. Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare 2 came out, and we were like, oh, it can't get no better than this. Take that, this, and that. We were having so much fun. There were so many clans, the Beer Clan, the Army, the Marines, blah, blah, blah. It was so much stuff. And then arguably the best Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 of its time was 3. That was amazing. We got Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1. I didn't care for Black Ops like that, but I played it nonetheless. There was spin-offs. There were old Call of Duties. And then, anyway, fast forward to 2019. Here we are, Call of Duty. That's the next slide, if you don't mind hitting the next button, please. Yes. So we got this. And this was the best Call of Duty ever. Okay? You had executions. We never had that. We had different guns, different play styles. It was amazing. And then the guys at Activision said, you know what we're going to do, right? We're going to rape your pockets. We're going to take all the money. We're going to
that's when they went with all the microtransactions.
Okay, but let's be real. They're not the first. They're not the last. Remember Fortnite? They literally took a cultures of dancing, and they were like, it's free. People pay for it, right? So bad that so many people pay for V-Bucks, they got to get refunds, and it's a whole thing. So then they did Call of Duty 2, and then they did Call of Duty. The next one should be 3, if I'm not mistaken. And when I tell you the games in between were so trash, Call of Duty 3 was not even supposed to be its own game for $69. We've come from 59 to 69. It was supposed to be a DLC. What is a DLC? I'm so glad you asked. Downloadable content, an extra thing you downloaded on for having the original, which would be number 2. And they charged us so much money for this trash game. Now, I don't have it. I did not buy it, nor do I have it on hood release because I like my subscription, but I've played it on other people and I've seen the reviews. This is trash. This is what corporate greed looks like. All they had to do was literally, they could have taken the Grand Theft Auto approach, kept number 1, 2019 for at least 2 to 3 years, right? Support it, then release Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Instead, they did like the whole Cold War and some other trash game I don't really care about. And then they did number 2 in 2021. And it's like, how much more game? If you bought 4 games at $60, okay, at $60,
Man.
yo, you know how much money you spent for trash and you're trying to justify it, which is why right now Call of Duty is facing one of the worst backlashes, and not just people talking bad about it, but the lack of popularity. There's a game called Power World, okay? Nintendo's upset. Power World is beating the amount of players on it. There's so many games. Call of Duty is not even top 10, at least on Steam. You know, there's also a lot of cheaters and they don't do anything about it. They could have done this much better. They could have done this so much better. Let me move on because we don't have enough time, and I definitely want to hear what Kat has to say. That's Call of Duty. Oh, that was the original first one. Oh, I love it. Okay. They probably showed out of service. Dead Space. I love Dead Space. Everybody here knows I love Dead Space. I love sci-fi. That is my ish. You want to talk about horror, zombies, necromorphs that don't die per se, shoot them in the head, you got to cut off their limbs. A great story. They remade the story, made it even better. And then they said, you know how we had Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3, which you don't talk about, but we would think, you know, we're not going to do those. We're not going to do those again. And it's like, why? You hit it out the park with the first one. Anybody who's watched my stream or watched anybody's stream who's played the first knows that this is a national treasure. This is an American treasure. That's right. I said it. It's not true at all, but I said it. It's an amazing game. This is worth so much money. I've told people play it, and if you don't like it, I will pay for the price of the game. The game is amazing. Great story. And they said, we'll think about doing it. And they're like, no, we're not going to do it. And it's like, what are you doing?
They don't
This
like
is the
money.
one time. It's the one time I want you to hit me with so much like of prop and just like, yes, we're going to do it and get me going. And it's like, no. So allegedly they're still in talks. They would be stupid not to do it. The first one and the second one were dope. I think the first and the second one were made by the guys who made Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the guy who was head of that, and he came. So I hope he comes back and they do the story, and it's amazing. I'm telling you this, you're gonna love it. If not, I'm not gonna pay for everybody who buys the game and doesn't like it. Sorry, you got to go to YouTube. That guarantee expired. This is amazing. If you guys and whoever, I forgot who makes this stupid game, make another one. Next one, please. Of course, I could not go without saying Aliens. I'm sorry. And you know what? No regrets. Aliens Fire Team was arguably the best game multiplayer for Aliens. Okay? RPG, and you had Isolation. This was the best multiplayer game and still is. And they came back. They released 2 Alien games, some weird point and click thing, and the other one. Listen, whatever. Okay, I still maintain this. Amanda Ripley would have made a great addition, a consistent addition to the Alien universe. I know that there's a new Alien movie, Romulans, whatever's coming out. If they have, yes, it's coming out in 2024, 2025, I think 2024, 2025, whatever they decide to do. If Amanda Ripley's there, I have faith in the franchise. Otherwise, you're just milking the same udder on the same cow. Do something different. This was it. They could have expanded and made so much more money, but they focused on 2 other games because why? Trash. But this was a great game. They make out another one. We got this. We go, baby. Next one, please. Next one.
We're done with that.
Okay, cool. So then I'm done. Oh, this one. Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling, you are dumb. I mean, you're rich. You are dumb. Hold on. Let me give some clarity. Let me give some grace. I am not a writer. I am not a best-selling writer. I'm not a writer at all. I write poetry. I did my thing back in the day. I'm not a writer. So For me to sit here and be like, I know everything that a writer does, I don't. But I know a missed opportunity when I see it. Here it is. You had all these books. You had the Chamber of Secrets and everything, the whole Harry Potter. What was it? 8 books? 8 books originally, right?
Yep.
And you said, I'm not even going to try anymore. You had us in the death grip. You had all of our balls in your hand, and you know what you did? Fantastic Beasts, some movie deals, whatever. The movies, I don't mind. The movies, that's fine. That makes sense, right? If you had made a book about Harry Potter's parents and Snape interactions at Hogwarts, if you had did a book about Voldemort growing up and recruiting people, if you had did a book about Albus Dumbledore and his previous journeys in Hogwarts during the times, you... Oh my God! Oh!
I think he's a little passionate about
When you were a
this.
millionaire, you could have been a billionaire. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't have my headphones in, so I'm gonna do this like this. Hear me out. James, Lily, the other one, who cares? You could have done a one-shot book of Snape growing up in Hogwarts, falling in love with Lily. Oh my God. Oh my, we would have paid double for it. We would have paid triple for it. Voldemort, Albus, the whole crew from before, the Marauders map. What? And you gave us this? Stupefy yourself. And I'm done. Thank you.
You gotta follow that, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I apologize.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. Well, I didn't see this. Oh man. Thank you, sir.
They have been asking for a Marauders something for a very long time, but I just don't know that J.K. Rowling is the one to write it. I think that
No, not anymore.
she's so far removed from the values that were in those books, even though now with different eyes those books take on a different meaning and you see a lot of like problematic stuff in it. But yeah, there's a crap ton of fan fiction where you can enjoy it for free. So I would recommend you do that because there are some great stories out there. There's some smutty stories out there too, if that's your thing. But there are some great fanfics out there if you want to kind of keep that magic alive. Pun intended.
Yeah, and then you could have released the actual, like Hogwarts University that they just released. What? Salivating. We're waiting for number 2. We're salivating. Stupefy yourself. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I only had 2, but we're over time, so I don't mind not doing them. Oh, I guess we are.
And here we are.
I'm going to be quick. Terra Nova, I really thought that it was a great concept. I especially like that it involved time travel, and I wish that they had done more with that.
Mm-hmm.
You had the ability to go to the past so that you could restart civilization during the time of the dinosaurs before we fucked up the planet. And I feel like there was so much more story to explore there. And then they just kind of got weighed down with this, like with romances and like little petty things.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that it had been more like Travelers or even like, Sliders or like even or like a Lost in Space kind of thing. Where they use this ability to do more than just do a reboot in the past when like, and the other thing is like the more you thought about it, the idea is great, but you also know that it's finite because you know that at some point that comet's going to hit and you're all going to die. So you could have gone anywhere and you decided to go here, not you know what I mean, like not taking into consideration no matter what you do to try to get it right this time, you're heading towards a finite end. So like I really love the concept of it, but I feel like they're like, oh, let's do something with dinosaurs. And it could have been so much better than that, especially since they had a really great cast. Like look at Stephen Lang there, like a badass. That man always like, yeah, like look at his face. But it had like a really good cast and really good stories, but it limited itself, and it was only in its first season. This is when you shoot your shot, kid.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing. So I wish that we had gotten a little bit more into the wormholes, like even like a Stargate kind of thing. Would have been more fun, because we could use something like that. We could have used something like that had its own twist to it. So that was my first choice, and then my second choice was a show that also ended after one season that I thought was smart and funny and clever and had a really good cast, but limited themselves. I mean, like, you have people from Community, and you have Alan Tudyk, probably one of the greatest comedic actors of our time. He can do anything or be anyone, and I love that he was related to Batman, but was like, he couldn't even get his cousin to call him back. Like, was, and that this premise was none of these people are powered, and it's dealing with the aftermath of these superhero battles. So they make these umbrellas that repel debris, and they make these like magnets that help you like navigate this world where you never know when a skyscraper is going to come toppling down on you, or the next bad guy is going to start blowing stuff up.
Right.
The premise was there, and then like about a third of the way into the season, it just started to like lose its momentum, and it was too smart for that. I really feel like it could have been like a Community or a Park and Rec, or even like The Office,
Yeah.
but with a superhero twist that would have gotten a larger audience. And I don't even know who to like blame for this. I just think that it was the right thing at the wrong time. But I would have loved for this to gotten a little bit more steam under it, because I really feel like this show could have been great.
If I remember correctly, there were rumors that there was writing issues and people were the director's issues and whatnot. This sounds too good, and then when the company wants a certain type of comedy, is you're not the one we want. And then remember, when did this come out? If you remember,
Oh
Mid
gosh, I don't remember. Like
2000?
I was gonna say like 2000 teens.
So
Yeah.
let's just say that, if it's not Friends, if it's not one of the successful sitcoms, then it's like it's not The
Well,
Office,
and
and I
this is
get where
the
you're coming
first.
from. Yeah.
This was like the first live action comedy from DC Comics, and I feel like they gave
Yeah.
up too quick,
Well,
because the premise was good. The premise was funny, and the characters were funny and interesting,
Yeah.
and like my mind was like, oh, I can't wait to see what they come up with now, for because it was like stupid inventions that you don't know that you need, but they were fun, and it's kind of like what you need, the comedy
Yeah.
said. And it was one of those things that I think was in the Spider-Man movie, where they show the crew coming in to clean up afterwards,
Yeah.
or like Lower Decks from Star Trek. We want to see like in the trenches, the aftermath of these battles and stuff, that's not such a serious take, just like the funniness of having to live in this kind of world and being related to Batman, and like trying to be like live vicariously through this character. And he's like, oh yeah, he's my cousin, but he doesn't call you. He doesn't return your calls. He doesn't answer your emails, but you're still using his name. Like, I'm a Wayne. Like, are you though? Like,
Are
are
you
you a
though?
Wayne? Are
He
you
did
really a Wayne?
adopt kids, and they're more of a Wayne than him. So,
But I did, like, I really had high hopes for this show, and I thought Vanessa Hudgens was great. So yeah, that was my second one.
all right, Reggie,
Yes.
thank you so much. I'm just gonna say that Cat won again. I'm already receiving hate mail from
Oh,
Hogwarts University.
oh,
Uh,
oh,
Cease
you
and
messed up.
desist.
Cease and desist, Mickey Mouse, none of
I'm
them
sure J.K. Rowling has me blocked on everything.
on everything. On everything. Don't worry, I'm
Hey,
joining. I'm joining the list. Reggie, take us out. This has been amazing. You guys were dope. This was a dope list. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna have to watch some things over again. I'm sorry.
that's okay. But
I'm not even
ladies and
sure if
gentlemen,
half of these things are available to watch, but I would be interested in watching
right?
them
Good
and
release.
seeing if they were as good as I remembered them, or as
Cat,
bad.
cat,
I
say
mean,
with me. Cat,
Yes, my
hood
love.
release. Say with me. Hood release.
I have too much anxiety for that.
I got
She's
you.
like, oh, they're gonna use a VPN.
You still have a CD player, right? Because I got some CDs I can burn for you.
I have a Betamax.
Bet.
Wow.
Challenge accepted.
Wow. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 4-Letter Nerd. Thank you for joining us on our show tonight. Hopefully, we sparked some good discussion with you. Tell us about some shows that you think that you could do better. Tell us about your best teams and or team ups. Let us know. Comments, like, subscribe. Tell us everywhere. Come back next week. Hopefully, we'll have all 4 of us. If not, there'll be some amalgamation of all
Come
of
back,
us.
Big Daddy Burgie.
We need the
you.
cake.
Pick up the milk already.
But ladies and gentlemen, we have been the 4-Letter Nerd, a Hyrule Geek X Unlimited production. We're out of here.